I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site. The latest jobs tally shows an improving market.
The first week of 2016 got off to a frenzied start. Here in San Francisco, all eyes are on next week's biotech conferences. Ahead of the events, biopharma deals are stealing the spotlight. And did FitBit miss the beat? Its users filed a class action lawsuit for faulty monitoring.
Welcome to Small Cap Nation. I'm Jane King at the NASDAQ market site in Times Square. The U.S. saw strong job growth in December. The Labor Department says 292,000 jobs were created. That was a lot more than most economists expected. The unemployment rate held steady at 5%. Economists don't believe the unseasonably warm December had any impact on the job market last month. Small cap stocks are faring better in this week's stock market sell-off than the big caps are. And in fact, 15 large cap stocks are already down at least 10% for 2016. Now, that doesn't mean small caps are doing well, though. Down 5 of the last 6 days, companies tracked by the Russell 2000 index slumped 2.7%, falling below a level reached in September and trading at the weakest versus the Russell 1000 in 6 years. Large speculators are wagering on more pain, boosting short sales of the group to the highest since October of 2014. Well, Media General should be familiar with soap operas. The company operates 71 television stations across the United States, but it is having a difficult time climbing out of a particularly tricky merger and acquisition love triangle. Media General said it had negotiated a deal in which NextStar would acquire it for cash and stock for about $2.3 billion, but the agreement with NextStar does not matter yet because Media General is still bound to Meredith. Meredith's terms prohibit Media General from being acquired until their own merger agreement is terminated, and Meredith is holding on. Well, BlackBerry is going all out on the Android phone. The company plans to release one new product and potentially a second phone this year. Both will run on Google's mobile software, according to CEO John Chen. It's bittersweet news for die-hard BlackBerry fans, a shrinking but fiercely loyal group. Yes, BlackBerry will continue to exist, but won't offer any phones running on its own BlackBerry 10 software. Well, lots of small cap companies making news today. Here's a look in today's small cap wrap. Barracuda said its third quarter earnings missed estimates. Cirrus Logic's preliminary revenue trailed estimates. Container Store says sales came in below forecast. Helen of Troy earnings and revenue beat estimates. Synergy Resources reported a first quarter loss, and Urban Outfitters holiday sales were down 2% year over year. Sunedison, a solar manufacturing company, fell 35% on Thursday after the company announced it intends to raise money and restructure its debt to pay back $738 million. Now, you may be thinking, debt reduction, that's a good thing. Well, like many things in life, the devil is in the details, and in order to raise this money, Sunedison will be restructuring old loans at a much higher rate and issuing a bunch of stock. Investors' worst fear about the stock is real. Sunedison is cash poor. And weak third quarter earnings caused shares of the Container Store to nosedive nearly 17%. The company's full year guidance also had bad news. TCS now expects consolidated net sales to be between $785 and $795 million. That's down from previous predictions of $800 to $815 million. Beauty products maker Avon Products said it would cut some global IT jobs after hiring Hewlett-Packard Enterprise to run some of its tech operations. Avon, which expects the program to be completed by the end of this year, did not specify how many employees would be affected, but the company did say it expects pre-tax savings of $10 to $15 million a year beginning in 2019. In the healthcare space, deal news and IPO announcements taking center stage. What are some of the big pharma deals?
Hi, Jane. Global markets and the jobs report may be taking center stage on Wall Street, but in the Bay Area, all eyes are on downtown San Francisco. Next week, healthcare and biotech conferences are in the spotlight. The 34th JP Morgan Healthcare Conference and the 8th Biotech Showcase are taking place. Now, reps from the pharma giants will attend with plenty of deals and partnership expected to take place. And ahead of the big conference week, Big Pharma stepped in. NextCure raised $67 million from investors. Now, a team of executives from Amplimmune is teaming up with Yale oncologist Lie-ping Chen to found the startup. It hopes to develop immune therapy treatments. Amplimmune is a biotech company acquired by MedImmune in 2013 for $500 million. Canaan partners Lilly Asia Ventures, OrbiMed Advisors, Pfizer participated in this round. Now moving on to C4 Therapeutics, the company launched from Dana-Farber Cancer Institute with a $73 million Series A financing round. It is developing treatments in the field of targeted protein degradation. C4 plans to develop develop drugs in proprietary and partner development programs. Separately, Pfizer led a $50 million round for South San Francisco-based Cortexime. Dolby Family Ventures, Takeda, and several private investors also participated. Now, this company is working on new therapies for Alzheimer's as well as neurodegenerative diseases. Moving on to Guardant Health, it completed a $100 million Series D investment round. OrbiMed led the round with existing investors, which include Khosla Ventures, Sequoia Capital, Lightspeed Venture Partners, and others. The company also creates non-invasive cancer genomic sequencing and has already raised nearly $100 million to date prior to this round. Last but not least, San Francisco-based Elector attracted Amgen and AbbVie for its $29.5 million round led by the Dementia Discovery Fund. This comes just months after its $32 million Series D. Elector is working on antibodies that can boost an immune response to neurodegenerative diseases, and it does have a focus on Alzheimer's. Now, Merck Research Lab Ventures, OrbiMed, Polaris Partners, GV, and Mission Bay Capital participated in this flash round.
We're also seeing double-digit percentage gains for several small caps in healthcare today. What's behind the soaring prices?
Well, when we see these types of moves, we know that a company shifting action is behind this surge. At the end of the week, Sandra tacked on over 10%. Shares of the company that makes silicone breast implants got a boost. Now, this came as its chairman and CEO, Jeff Nugent, wrote a letter to doctors announcing Sientra's submission of third-party testing data of its products. Back in October of last year, it put a voluntary hold on sales after quality issues with Silamed, its supplier in Brazil. Regulators shut down the supplier in the autumn of 2015. Now, the letter from the CEO says results show implants are safe and pose no risks to patients. Separately, Biotech shares soared on Friday. With that boost, its market cap hovers above $300 million. Now, the developer of true human therapeutic antibodies says it completed its analysis for its phase 3 study of Xilinx. That is, its treatment for advanced symptomatic colorectal cancer. Results showed improvement in antibody activity in patients treated with Xilinx. Now, the Texas Biopharma will proceed with regulatory submissions.
And before we peel ourselves away from the healthcare space, are we about to see one of the largest mergers in the industry next week?
According to sources, Shire is prepping for a major announcement as early as next week. Shire may be buying Baxalta for about $32.5 billion. The cash and stock deal would value Baxalta at $48 per share. Meanwhile, both parties are confident tax concerns regarding Baxalta's spin-out from Baxter won't be an impediment to the transaction. Shire has been eyeing Baxalta since July of last year. It proposed an all-stock deal for just over $45 per share that was rejected by Baxalta's board. This acquisition would mark the end of a very long pursuit.
Straight ahead, we head across the pond for a look at what's happening in the European markets when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Good. Very good. You see something moving off the shelves, and your first thought is to investigate the company. You are type E. Yes, investment opportunities can be anywhere. Or not. But you know the difference.
E-Trade's barcode scanner. Shorten the distance between intuition and action. E-Trade. Opportunity is...
Before they sat down, one more time, just for themselves. Before the last grandchild graced the stage. Before Katie and her husband hit that rough patch. Before Kevin finally came home and the first grandchild arrived. Before the sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, and Brad's brief brush with the law. Before the second British invasion. Before Katie, Debbie, Kevin, and Brad. Before they became a family. There was a connection that started it all and made the future the wonderful thing it turned out to be. We know we're not the center of your life, but we'll do our best to help you connect to what is.
Sometimes the present looked bright, sometimes romantic. There were tears in my eyes. and tears in my eyes. And so many little things that we learned were really the biggest things. Through it all, we saved and had a retirement plan, and someone who listened and helped us along the way. Because we always knew that someday the future would be the present.
Every someday needs a plan. Talk with us about your retirement today.
Graham, how have the European markets been behaving today?
Well, Jane, to some degree, sense appears to have returned to the markets. After closing down last night, there was a small recovery this morning. Now they're hovering around the sort of 0 point, swinging either side positive and negative by about 0.5% today. But they're still off 4 to 6% on the week, so a long way to go to recover. London is still overshadowed by oil and commodities, and Frankfurt, of course, by China. So we'll see how we get on next week, but I think it's going to be a slow recovery. The euro is strengthening a little, whilst the pound continues to weaken a little. Everything is just small movements today. And there appears really to be palpable nervousness all the way around. Add to this the UK Chancellor's speech yesterday warning that problems are far from over, and the continuing and increasing Britex noise. The UK certainly looks rather an uncertain bet today. And meanwhile in Spain, this political situation appears to be continue confused. No party with a clear mandate, and there's now talk about another general election. We shall see. But there's certainly no clear government there. On the data front, pretty well, in fact, all the data is related to November. German industrial production fell surprisingly by 0.3% and only increased by 0.1% year on year, which missed market forecasts. Although Germany managed to post a 20 billion trade surplus, with exports up year on year on 7.7%. So not bad. At the same time, the French trade gap decreased to 4.6 billion, below the expectations of the markets, but industrial production in France dropped 0.9% in November, its lowest reading since July. But it did increase by 2.8% in November year on year. So again, not terrible, but not good. At the same time, the UK trade gap increased to over 3 billion in November as exports declined by 1.2%. Not a pretty picture. So a mixed set of data, generally positive for Germany and France, but still casting doubts over the UK recovery. More data next week, and we'll see what things start to look like. So I think continuing nervousness in the markets with China, continuing uncertainty overall in Britain with Britex and the UK economy, and not too much positive for the markets.
Well, Graham, what are we looking at today?
Well, we had the first IPOs of 2016 on the London AIM today. Two companies that in fact had delayed their IPOs from December.
What do we know about the companies?
The first is a company we covered back in December, Macango Resources. It's a Canadian exploration and development company who were spearheading the development and mining of rare earth elements in Malawi. But this company appears to have disappeared or withdrawn at the last moment, so we're left with just one IPO today.
Which is?
Draper Esprit, which is a VC fund that was founded in 2006 with a mission to back Europe's most ambitious entrepreneurs, and is now one of the most active VC firms in the European area, although the group principally operates in the UK and Republic of Ireland. At a mission, the company will have a minority stake in a portfolio of some 24 companies and intends to invest in those companies and pursue new investment opportunities. Their strategy is to invest in visionary and growing companies, but they also have the ability to do direct secondary deals into late-stage companies, as well as buying entire venture capital portfolios. Their leading institutional investors have committed more than $1 billion to their funds to date, and as they raise funds from a number of sources and are able to source capital for the best opportunities through their partnerships. In 2012, they launched their first angel EIS co-investment fund to allow funders, founders, tech executives and private investors to invest alongside them to help build bigger networks for their portfolio companies. Through their angel EIS co-investment funds, they've successfully deployed capital on behalf of over 100 personal investors into some of Europe's fastest growing companies, alongside their leading institutional investors. Draper Esprit has also been the most active secondary investor in Europe, having acquired 10 VC portfolios to date, as well as direct stay investments in later stage companies. Their total capital commitment for secondary transactions is over 400 million. The company manages 4 EIS funds, and the directors intend to grow alongside the primary investing business. The company still also manages 3 previous funds which are now in runoff, with 19 companies remaining after exits of some 66 companies. The group will seek prior exposure to developing companies, primarily but not limited to sectors of the digital economy, consumer technology, enterprise technology, hardware and healthcare, in the form of investments. The investments are expected to be mainly in the form of equity, although debt or convertible securities or other investments in specific projects could be considered. Given the time frames involved to fully maximize the value of the investments, the board expects investments will be held for medium to long term, although it retains the right for short-term disposal of assets should exceptional or opportunistic opportunities occur. So originally the IPO was in December. The markets have now, of course, been severely depressed, so we will see how well the IPO takes off at this time. That's all for today from Graham Brown for Small Cap Nation Europe.
We'll take you to San Francisco next when Small Cap Nation comes right back.
Everyone works hard for a reason. Working together, we can help you prepare financially for when 2 becomes 3. Wells Fargo. Together we'll go far.
You want to be the best investor you can be. You want to cut through the noise of an overwhelming amount of analysis. You want the insights that will help you decide which ideas to execute and which to leave behind. You want your trades executed in 1 second or less, guaranteed and routed with institutional quality technology. Look no further. Open an account and find more of the expertise you need to be a better investor.
When I got the phone call that we had received the grant, I held my breath.
To have a program like this is a big reward.
Being a Chase Mission Main Street grant recipient is a game changer.
One of the biggest surprises in starting a small business is the number of hours we should work for the first 20 years.
One of the great things about this grant is that it is going to let us invest in some additional inventories.
It's going to allow this business to go to the next level.
Being a recipient of this grant, we can't be thankful enough.
It's a dream come true, and I'm still in awe.
In this day and age, fitness trackers and smart health devices go hand in hand with exercise. There are devices to monitor your performance and track your actions. Now, what's behind this class action lawsuit against FitBit?
Well, it's been a rough start to the year for Fitbit. The maker of fitness trackers fell over 11% on Thursday, and this came on news that users of Fitbit products filed a class action lawsuit. Plaintiffs claim that the Fitbit Charge HR and Fitbit Surge models do not monitor heart rate accurately. Now, Fitbit devices track heart rate, calories burned, as well as steps, and monitors a wearer's sleep. The lawsuit accuses the company of false advertising. Also, earlier this week, the company announced a new smartwatch, the Fitbit Blaze. On Friday, shares of the company managed to shrug off the news and recover some of Thursday's losses. The SF-based firm says the case does not have merit and it stands by its technology, but at the same time, it said its products are not intended to be medical or scientific devices.
CES headlines brought a deluge of product announcements. The annual trade show shed light on innovations that are in the works. What are some of the dominant trends this year?
With tens of thousands of products competing for attention at the show, it's hard not to be overwhelmed. In terms of product categories, cars, drones, VR devices, robots, and smart clothing were dominant. Auto technology, including self-driving cars, electric prototypes, and elegant designs were key highlights. As for drones, over 100 models were on display at CES. From mini toy models to full-size drones that could transport people, there is no doubt the investment and interest in the aircraft category continue. And over in the VR world, the Oculus Rift announcement got plenty of attention. Fans of virtual reality can pre-order the Rift for $599 US and expect it by March of this year. And speaking of VR and robots, Apple acquired Emotion, an AI startup. Now, the Emotion technology analyzes facial expressions in humans. While it's not clear what Apple will do with the technology, note that it has been used by advertisers to assess viewer reaction to ads. The medical field has tested the technology to help interpret patient expressions, especially for those people who cannot speak or signal in conventional manners. Now, retailers have also relied on Emotion to analyze shoppers' reactions in stores.
And what about gadgets that didn't get too much airtime? Are there some quirky products that caught your attention?
Well, every consumer will have their own take on what's cool and innovative. In terms of product categories that caught my attention, security tech has some great applications. Biometrics and its corresponding gadgets literally caught my eye. Now, one company I like displayed its security tech. Its iris authentication tech in automotive applications was showcased with its proof of concept that validates the driver and also authorizes the start of a vehicle. The technology can be used in devices, automobiles, as well as secure financial transactions. Fox International acquired a majority interest in iLock in September 2015.
Listen up, investors. What to buy, sell, or hold. Our daily segment on what the experts are recommending when Small Cap Nation returns.
Guys, I got the jerseys. El Nino. Aquí. Spray Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Don Ovan.
Think that's me?
You guy. It's $40. Can you cover that?
I'll send it to you right now. Done.
Okay, got it. So hat-trick Rick, he's the best player on our team. You get the ball, you give it to him.
Great. Rick.
On your phone, online, on the go, Wells Fargo makes it easy to get banking done.
All right, Don, you're on. Nope, just kidding.
Doug, you've been staring at that for a while, huh? Listen, TD Ameritrade has former floor traders to help walk you through that complex trade, so you'll be confident enough to do what you want. I'll pull up their number. Blammo. Let's get those guys on the horn. Ooh. Looks like it is time to upgrade your phone, Douglas.
For all the confidence you need, TD Ameritrade. You got this.
Let's go, Serena. Fight, fight. Come on, fight. Can't stop me now. Come on, Serena. Oh.
Stop, let's go back. 1, 2. Whoa, stop there. I bet we can do it even better. It took tennis legend Serena Williams, fencing champion Tim Morehouse, and the world-famous Rockettes years to master their craft. But it took them only moments to master paying bills at Chase.com, depositing checks at Chase ATMs, and transferring funds on the mobile app. Technology designed for you, so you can easily master the way you bank.
Lots of activity in today's buy-sell-hold action. Adtran was raised to a buy at Stifel. Arc Document Solutions raised to a new buy at B. Riley. Boston Beer was cut to hold at Jefferies. Boyd Gaming raised to overweight at JP Morgan. Cirrus Logic raised to overweight at Pacific Crest. And Container Store cut to neutral at JP Morgan. Finisar was cut at Barclays. Holosys cut to neutral at Credit Suisse. RPC rated new neutral at Macquarie Bank. And Sunedison raised to hold at Axiom. And thanks for joining us on Small Cap Nation. We'll see you back here Monday. Until then, check back for the latest news and research on smallcapnation.com, Facebook, and Twitter.